I just muted myself by accident. My bad. No, I muted myself by accident. What I'm saying is, I'm going to repeat the last thing I said. I'm trying to explain to people why they're calling the accessibility sliders in Doom, the Dark Ages, woke. Like, stuff like this is why. It pretty much all happened at the same time. Like, this video right here, to give it a little bit of a preface, surfaced around the time From Software was about to release another Souls game. I believe it was Elden Ring. No, it wasn't Elden Ring. It was Sekiro. They were saying that Sekiro was too hard and that it needed an easy mode, right? And around that same time, we got The Last of Us 2, which had a bunch of accessibility sliders that everybody clowned, by the way, that basically made the game brain dead to the point where it could basically play itself. So that's part of the reason why people are making such snap judgments, because this idea happened around that same time. And you started seeing a bunch of videos like this surface where a lot of woke individuals had this mindset. And just take a listen.
All video games need easy modes. I'm gonna explain. But first, if you're one of those "you're not a real gamer if you play games on easy mode" people, you can scoot right along there, Buster. Cause listen, I love video games. I'm also very bad at video games. But I am a big kid with a big kid job and responsibilities like car payments, and I don't have time to be good at video games. Side note, we are not hating on people that make video games a priority. If being good at video games is one of your priorities, what an excellent way to spend your downtime. I am flabbergasted by your skills. It's just not one of my priorities. I have many skills in this life, but beating Hollow Knight mini bosses is not one of them. I don't want—
Does that sound like a person that likes video games for what they're made for? Honestly, anyone who knows anything about video games knows that one of the prime directives of video games is for them to be challenging. Since the very first video game, that was the entire point. Y'all did hear the video, right? Just making sure. Okay, while I wait for y'all to answer, I'm just going to continue. But anyway, that's the entire point, right? She claims to like video games, but she's not interested enough in them to actually want to be good at them, because that's the only possible reason she could have this opinion. And she blames having a job and having to pay bills for the reason why she can't get good at video games, which most gamers I know have those same things. Like, I know gamers with entire families who still make time for being good at fucking video games. So, like, this is just a cheap excuse. So, like,
want a challenge. Life is hard enough. But beating Hollow Knight mini bosses is not one of them. I don't want a challenge. Life is hard enough. I want a cool interactive story. And what happens is I get frustrated on a—
I want a cool interactive story. That's why a whole bunch of video games became fucking movies. They were making video games for people like this. I don't want to be good at games. I don't want a challenge. I want a cool interactive story. That's why every game started becoming The Last of Us. This isn't the only video that popped up. This is like one of the first ones. This is not the only video that happened around that time talking about accessibility in gaming and all games needing an easy mode. I can't even fucking count the articles that popped up. Right? I fucking can't. But these are the sentiments she was expressing in this video. I have a job. I don't have time. I don't want a challenge. I want an interactive story. And I'm going to pull it back just so she can say this next thing.
Challenge. Life is hard enough. I want a cool interactive story. And what happens is I get frustrated on a fight I can't beat, and I end up giving up, and I lose out on so much cool story. Video.
I miss out on so much cool story. Because you can't watch a YouTube video to get the story. Like, this is, okay, this is exactly why I have the position that video games aren't art. right? Because they're not. They're made for a purpose. They're made to entertain you. Art's made to be admired. Like, art doesn't necessarily have a purpose. Video games do. So when people try to defeat the point of a video game by saying, I give up on the game, but I feel bad that I miss out on the story, you get games like God of War Ragnarok, where there's barely any fucking gameplay, and it's basically a fucking movie. Video games should be gameplay first, period. The story should be an afterthought. Obviously, games are better with cool visuals and great storytelling, but video games are fucking video games.
Fight I can't beat, and I end up giving up, and I lose out on so much cool story. Video game creators, this is my plea to you. / on with the story. Easy modes, please. Thank you.
All video games need an easy mode. Like, this sentiment was expressed around the same time you started getting stuff like, because I'm not even on the Doom Dark Ages stuff yet. This sentiment is around the same time you started getting stuff like this. Accessibility in gaming, why it matters. Oh, God, excuse me. And some of you pretty much already know what time it is by the look of this fucking banner. But we're going to go ahead and read some of this. Because essentially what goes on is that during that entire stretch of time, you see a bunch of people using the disabled as a shield to make video games more accessible to able-bodied motherfuckers like this. Like this person.
Video.
Dear God. Like this person. They're using a disabled people as a shield to foster the sentiments and cater to these people. Motherfuckers without disabilities who just want a movie, or they want a game to play itself. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't even believe those people want to play the game. I think they just want to change some shit that they're not a part of, because we've seen that before too. I don't even think they really want to play the fucking video game. I don't really believe them. But whatever. I'm not in their household. I still don't believe them though. But anyway, let's read some of this by Fem Gaming. Did you know that approximately a quarter of the population in North America lives with some kind of a disability? Those disabilities range from mobility difficulties to hearing, vision, and cognitive issues, including chronic and mental illness. Accessibility for those with any kind of disability is an everyday challenge, and accessibility to gaming remains sparse, and many solutions have come from players themselves rather than developers and console manufacturers. Just as in real life, accessibility is an afterthought rather than an intentional design. Excuse me, that shit's kind of small. Let me zoom this in. But first, what does it mean for a video game to be accessible? The most obvious answers to someone who's able-bodied might be regarding more visible physical disabilities like fine motor skills requiring adaptive controllers, which are still hard to find, font type and size for the visually impaired, and customizable controller options, or deaf and hard of hearing communities needing subtitles and captions. While those concerns are legitimate, disability and accessibility encompass a much wider, less known range. For example, colorblind individuals need settings to help them distinguish game elements better, which we already knew about. And dyslexic players can benefit from easy-to-read fonts designed especially for them. Others with either physical or cognitive disabilities are asking for assist modes and options so another player can join and perform some actions that may be harder or impossible for the disabled player. And the ability to skip portions of the game like boss fights or sensitive material. Why would somebody who likes video games want to skip portions of the game, especially important shit staple fucking mechanics of games like boss fights or other sensitive material, whatever the fuck this is, right? Because this could be anything, whatever. But like this shit here is a giant red flag. Why would you want to skip portions of the game? Sham, what are you talking about? You sense a disturbance. and they bring up Cuphead and Sekiro, two games around that time that were being decried for not having easy mode and being too hard. These two games specifically. These two games right here brought journalists to their fucking knees saying that, oh, every game needs an easy mode. That's where it started. Journos couldn't beat Cuphead. Journo couldn't beat the fucking Cuphead tutorial. And that's where this shit started. Right? But people are saying that whenever someone sees this and says it's woke, they're overreacting. Even though it's already happened. Like, the accessibility shit already happened. People just don't have a memory longer than fucking 60 seconds thanks to TikTok. So you can say that Doom the Dark Ages isn't out yet and that this isn't much to go off of. That's fine. But stop acting like people's fucking concerns are unfounded when we've already seen this shit for Cuphead and Sekiro and every other Souls game to follow. Because remember, the fucking sentiment is all games need an easy mode. Not just Souls games, not just Cuphead, all of them. So when motherfuckers see this in a Doom game, you shouldn't be surprised that they might call it woke. They might have a point, because we don't know yet, but they might fucking have a point. They might. Do we really want to see this shit in every game? Who the fuck sees this and thinks about making the game harder? Nobody. Because of where it came from. All games need a fucking easy mode. Nobody was complaining that games were too easy and then accessibility sliders showed up. No, people complained that they weren't easy enough and this shit showed up. That's all I'm saying. But continuing on with this article, because there's one more I want to read to prove my fucking point. More options in the difficulty settings for extremely hard games like Cuphead and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is another accessibility demand that spilled quite a bit of ink. The problem is that some fans consider the difficulty level to be part of a game's design and intent, which is true, and thus it shouldn't be customizable to make the game more accessible. Obviously, it creates barriers that limit that game's accessibility, and more developers are starting to think about the consequences. As storytellers, they might want more people to be able to experience their games, not less. Again, obviously for corporations, I get why more people would be better. Like, more people is more sales. But you can understand why people who actually like video games would be defensive at this position. It dilutes the integrity of gaming. Because whenever you make some... Bro, this saying isn't something that was coined by Trump, but he said it recently. Like, everything... No, he said everything woke turns to shit. I was going to say everything mainstream turns to shit. He didn't say that. Everything mainstream turns to shit. That's why people are gatekeeping whenever they see shit like accessibility sliders. Like, whenever people say, oh, we need more people, it's never what kind of people. It's just more people, period. And we all know when you try to make something for everybody, you make it for fucking nobody. That's exactly why people are upset and at the very least skeptical about the accessibility sliders in Doom the Dark Ages. Because think about it. We're coming off the back of Doom Eternal, which was one of the hardest Doom games ever. It was extremely difficult, even on normal. So, like, you can see why people are apprehensive at the difficulty slider option, especially coming after that game. But anyway, as storytellers, they might want more people to be able to experience their games, not less. It's not all bad news. A bunch of organizations are working to keep studios accountable and further accessibility in the gaming space. Somebody just deleted a message. Who was that? God damn it. That's the wrong damn article. My bad. It's not all bad news. A bunch of organizations are working to keep studios accountable and further accessibility in the gaming space. For example, industry experts came together to create the Game Accessibility Guidelines, a grocery list of sorts that studios can use as part of their development process to ensure better accessibility. Players can turn to various resources like a blog named Can I Play That, which reviews video games on their accessibility and provides resources and news coverage of the industry as well. Does more effort need to be done to make video games accessible to all? Of course, but there are more than a few great initiatives taking place, and some truly accessible video games are being released every year. See, and when I see shit like this, immediately in my head, I'm thinking, pick a fucking lane, right? Because you read the first half and they're talking about the disabled, but then they say accessible to all. So fucking which is it? Are the accessibility options for the disabled, or are they for the disabled and a bunch of able-bodied motherfuckers who don't want to take the time to learn a video game? Because what they want is to just have games be easier. And it doesn't have shit to do with the disabled. They just want games to be easier for no reason. Because these people don't even like video games. Because if they did, they will understand that challenge is literally an intrinsic core part of video games. That's the whole point. That's what makes something engaging. That's why easy games are fucking boring. Like, and for the record, when people say easy mode is for babies, they're not being elitist. Like, that's a very literal statement. Like, easy mode was literally made for children. Like, that's what it was for. A child's not going to be able to learn if they're just getting obliterated by high damage enemies. That's why there's a mode for them, to get their feet wet with the lowest difficulty setting. But anyway, of course, but there are more than a few great initiatives taking place, and some truly accessible video games are being released every year. I think I read that already, but anyway. According to Mark Brown, who dives in game design and production on his YouTube channel, Game Maker's Toolkit 2021, Game Maker's Toolkit, 2021 saw some amazingly accessible blockbuster games being released, such as Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Far Cry 6, The Last of Us Part 2, and Forza Horizon 5, which this shit was stupid, dude. In Forza Horizon 5, you can slow the game down. Bro, this already fucking happened. This accessibility discussion already fucking happened. And everyone was calling this shit woke back then, specifically because of The Last of Us 2. Games like Forza Horizon 5 were being used as examples because you could go in that bitch and slow the game down to like 0.0001 speed or some shit to a point where it's in slow motion, but you moved at normal speed. Who the fuck wants to play a racing game that could do that? Why is that in the game? Who is that for? Who is that for? Whatever. Oh, my bad. That thought just came to me because I remember seeing somebody demonstrate that shit. What was it for? He also mentions industry leaders such as Microsoft and Xbox who have made great strides towards accessibility as well in the last year. First of all, I'm going to fucking open this game's accessibility guidelines shit because I didn't even know about that, and I picked this article. I didn't click any links. I'm not even going to lie to you. I just kind of saw the banner and knew what time it was. I'm not going to lie. I pretty much figured this was an article that I needed to make my point just by the banner. I'm not even going to bullshit you. I'm not going to bullshit you. But anyway, on to the next article. Cog Connected. I've never heard of this website, but I did actually skim through this one, and it pretty much broaches the same topic that I was looking for. Oh my God. Wayne Calker is in the chat. Get this imposter out of here. Examining the ugly history of accessibility in gaming. Like, even this phrase right here was being parroted every fucking where. Accessibility in gaming. Everywhere. But the people who are mad at this are overreacting. They're fucking not. They are right to be concerned. They are correct to be concerned. They don't know anything for certain, but they are correct to be concerned because it's happened before. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm fucking saying. Anyway, examining the ugly history of accessibility in gaming. Should I read this shit? The wheel of time turns and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legends fade to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. Robert Jordan, The Eye of the World. Okay. You may think this quote is about, you may think this quote is about the cyclical nature of humanity, and it is. But it's also about From Software games. Each time one comes out, whether it be Souls, Sekiro, or Bloodborne, we have the same conversation about accessibility in gaming, only for the discussion to slowly fade away, readying itself to strike once again in some distant future. No one side of this debate is the belief that all games, on one side, I'm dyslexic. On one side of this debate is the belief that all games should include multiple difficulty levels because easier levels mean greater numbers of people. And they think this is inherently a good thing. More people equals good. Like, I hate this fucking rationale. It's been the downfall of so many great franchises. More people equals good. It's insane. Obviously, for corpos, more people equals good. But for anyone who gives a fuck about what they're creating, fuck no. What kind of people? What is the quality of individual I will be receiving? Are they going to show up and participate? Or are they going to show up and demand change? For no fucking reason other than I don't like it. Change it to suit me. Like, what is the caliber of individual I'm getting? This more people equals good shit is insane. No. Including but not limited to players with disabilities will be able to play more games. This is I swear, I'm telling you, this is a fucking shield, dude. They're using the disabled as a fucking shield, dude. That's what they're doing. On the other side of the debate are those who believe that creators should be able to create what they want and that games based around intense difficulty and skill are, when done well, developed with these components in mind and therefore should not be forced to cater to everyone. I don't think anything should be forced to be catered to everyone, ever. And so the wheel turns. So anyway, the more we get into these articles, right? I'm going to take a break here to rant for a brief moment. The more we get into these articles, right? Maybe you're going to start to understand why people who are fans of the Doom franchise, which is actually a game known for being somewhat difficult and challenging, would be worried when they fucking see accessibility sliders. You might start to goddamn understand. But line go up. Exactly, Evil Florida. But line go up. Exactly. More equals good. Forget about the quality. More indie games equals good. Forget about the fucking sea of shitty pixel garbage. More indie games equals good. Whatever. These arguments hit many of the important points about accessibility, but there are other angles to consider. Excuse me. Accessibility in gaming is not just about making games playable by as many human beings by as many human beings on Earth. I hope not. I mean, that's what I've been fucking reading. I would like to think that's not the case, but that's what it sounds like. Or if it is about that, there are reasons for making them accessible. It's important to recognize and understand the social contexts, that contemporary games are designed, created, and published in. For example, and I might have to do a follow-up video on this shit, to be honest with you, because there's a lot more nuance that isn't being covered in the brief rundown that I'm doing. I say brief, but we've been at this for 33 fucking minutes. But anyway, for example, anyone with more than a passing interest in gaming has heard the statistics about how, contrary to long-held beliefs, women are very present in gaming. A vague statistic saying that the presence of female gamers is hovering around 50% has existed in my brain for years. While I'm not exactly sure of the statistics, it's clear that women in gaming have become considerably more visible in recent years. Well, what kind of stats, bro? We need the stats. We need real stats. Like who? God damn it. That's a whole conversation by itself, man. Because they start counting shit. When you think of a game that a gamer would play, and by like your average gamer, especially in America, we're going to use a white guy because they're the majority. Like, white people are still the majority here. But it could be any male person. The average gamer, male, right? What kind of games are they using in these fucking examples? Because there's certain types of games that males specifically play, and those would be considered actual video games. Like, is the example Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War, fucking Street Fighter? You know what I mean? Like a gamer's game, like Assassin's Creed 2. What games are they using in these fucking examples to say that female gamers are around 50%? What are these fucking examples? What are they? Is it dating sims? Are you counting the dating sims and the Candy Crush and the Animal Crossing? Are you counting? Anyway. The Path of Daggers. The games women play. But we value the types of games women often play differently. Thus, even when women are present in gaming at large, they're still excluded from major segments of the gaming community. I wonder why that is. So, is it by choice? Is it by choice? Do you think it's by choice? If you ask a self-identified gamer to decide between Grand Theft Auto 5 or Candy Crush, they are much more likely to pick GTA as the real game. Yes. Because it is the real game. Devaluing the games women play is not a recent trend. God damn it. This is what's stupid, right? The games aren't being devalued because women play them. It's because they're not real video games. I'm sorry, they're not. When motherfuckers think of video games, they do not think of fucking three item match games and fucking Peggle and Uno and fucking Tetris. They don't think of those types of games. When people think of gaming, they do not think of fucking puzzle games. They don't. Unless it's puzzle games like Limbo. But that's different. There's an element of like danger in that game, an actual challenge. Like, there's certain types of puzzle games that gamers might consider real video games, but Candy Crush, Peggle, fucking Puzzle Fighter, goddamn Uno, and fucking Pinball is not what. That's not what people are gonna fucking pick as a video game. Sorry, it's just not. It isn't. It's not because women play them. It's because they're not actual. That's not what motherfuckers look for. That's not what the majority of the market looks for in a video game. I'm sorry. But anyway, devaluing the games women play is not a recent trend. Even if it's easiest to identify in the supposed legions of Farmville playing housewives for most of my childhood, there were video games, and there were video games for girls. And another thing, all of those fucking simulator games are not what people would call real video games either, like Farming Simulator, Goat Simulator, Squirrel with a Gun. They're funny, but people wouldn't go for those shits either. So, like, you have to be very clear about what stats you're using. Seriously. Like, if most of what you play is Farming Simulator, are you really for real? Like, are you really a gamer? In the traditional sense, even though I hate that fucking word. I'm starting to hate that word because people use it to include bullshit. And anyway. For Interactive's line of Nancy Drew puzzle games, says it right there in the developer's name. And I doubt a lot of men were picking up the Barbie or American Girl doll games that were so formative in my early childhood. So many women I know completely light up when you mention the Nancy Drew games, and these women don't consider themselves gamers. There you go. I don't know. I count Goat Sim as an actual game, to be honest. Well, I almost said Goat Simulator is goated. I didn't mean to say that. But it's a funny game. Goat Simulator is hilarious. But if we're being honest, whenever you take stats for people being gamers, if someone said the only game they played was fucking Goat Simulator, you would not really call them a gamer, honestly. You wouldn't. No shade to those games. I love puzzle games. I love them. But I also understand what people mean when they say gamer. I fucking understand it. But anyway. A Crown of Swords. Women in online gaming. But while women have played games, women historically haven't been welcome. That is bullshit. Women don't typically like video games. Like, whenever you hear about men in the audience, be honest. Whenever you were caught playing video games, who would give you the most shit for playing video games? Reading comic books, action figures, collecting figurines. Who would give you the most shit? You're too old for that. Who would give you the most shit? Exactly. Mother. Be real. They don't fucking like them. It's not that you're not welcome. Bro, do you know how many fucking, dudes simp for chicks in video games? Like, that's a whole meme. I know there's also the meme of show bobs and shit. But there's also the meme, especially in MMOs, of protecting the healer and trying to help the girl in the MMO. Like, there's just as many of those. And oh my God, there's a girl at the arcade. Like, there's a bunch of that shit too. Like, what are you talking about? Women aren't welcome. It's bullshit. There's tons of guys who would love for women to take a genuine interest in the shit that they like. What the fuck are you talking about? Like video games with your girlfriend, right? I'm pretty sure dudes enjoy that. What the fuck are you talking about? Women aren't welcome in video games. Whoever thinks this is an idiot. Men have never not wanted women to like what they like. They just don't like when they change it. That's the fucking difference. If you're gonna like it for what it is, and don't try to fucking change it. Anyway. Another lie, and often still aren't, whatever. In many online gaming spaces, games that require voice communication over the internet make women easily identifiable targets for harassment, which leads to a lot of women avoiding. Now, I mean, yeah, this is true. You will get trolled if you're a girl on online video games. That will happen. That will absolutely happen. Technically, it is a form of harassment. I'm not gonna lie, but like that comes with the territory of being on the internet, especially online gaming. Like, women get harassment on the mic, bro. Have you been a black dude and played Call of Duty? Have you ever been a black dude and played Call of Duty? Did we get off the fucking game? Did we go cry in the corner? Oh my God, I'm gonna avoid Call of Duty. Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm still getting on the Call of Duty and pissing off these white kids. Yeah, you can call me you call me a nigga, I'm gonna be a nigga and drop 20 on your bitch ass. You damn right. That shit was funny, bro. What are you talking about? That's part of a young boy's formative years dealing with fucking adversity. And that's why it's so relatable to a lot of young men and boys. That type of shit. When somebody's talking cash shit and they get their ass handed to them. That's part of growing up for a lot of young men and boys. Water off a fucking duck's back. While the harassment women receive in gaming is well documented, the secondary effect that excluding women from certain types of games often goes unaddressed, even as it continues to have a major impact on gaming today. I've seen it myself. While I consider myself a lifelong gamer, I had never gravitated towards online multiplayer games or first-person shooters, something that held true even when I started writing about video games until I started playing Overwatch, that is. I find it hard to believe that you're a lifelong gamer and never gravitated toward online gaming. I straight up don't believe that shit. I think you're hamming this shit up for the article. I think that's bullshit. I'm not alone in this either. Overwatch was the first team-based shooter for many women, or the second if they came from, what? I'm reading this wrong. I'm not alone in this either. Overwatch was the first team-based shooter for many women, or the second if they came from the somehow still around Team Fortress 2 player base that was hobbling along in 2016. Overwatch's characters run the gamut. The what? The gamut? When it comes to skill level, by the time I started playing the game a couple years after its release, it was common for any identifiable women, gender being judged on voice, or username to be ridiculed for playing any non-healing role. Women can be Mercy or Lucia or a medic, but God forbid they choose Hanzo. Just talk shit. Just talk shit to them. That's all they want you to do. That's literally all they want you to do. Just talk shit. Just talk shit to them. That's all you have to do. Talk shit or be better at the game than them. Either one. You don't need both, but you need one of them. Either talk shit or be better at the game than them. Most effective, be both at the same time. Anyway, that's right. As absolutely ridiculous as it sounds, hundreds of hours playing Overwatch made it clear that 1950s housewife stereotypes have somehow translated into video games. Healing is for girls while DPS is for boys. It's Barbies versus action figures for a new generation, and so the wheel turns. Yeah, man. You know how many people's mothers get harassed in video games for absolutely no reason? Mom in the background making dino nuggets, catching strays, dog. What they did to your mother last night, or if you're a black guy, dad went to go get the milk. He went to go get the Newports. If you're a completely straight man, but you're gay or an F-slur, you know what I mean? They think that the harassment just doesn't exist whenever it's just guys. Is that what they really think, bro? Do you hear the type of shit? Have you heard the type of shit that guys call each other? It is the stuff of nightmares. I swear to God. Healing is for girls while DPS is for boys. It's Barbies versus action figures for a new generation, and so the wheel turns. Wait, how much longer is this shit? This is a long ass article. Okay, we're getting to the parts that matter, and then we're wrapping it. God fucking damn it, this shit is long as hell. I'm gonna finish it because I think it matters. I think I do need to read the whole thing because it matters. It helps get my fucking point across. Where was I? The Gathering Storm, the skills we value. The defense that abusive gamers on the internet would likely give to this is that women, based on their personal and subjective sample sizes, are just not as good at playing DPS or damage-based characters. No, you're taking motherfuckers who talk shit online too seriously. I even doubt that the people telling you that shit even believe what they're saying. They're talking shit to you to get you off your game. Trash talk is a part of the experience. They even do that shit in sports. It's so that they're in your head rent-free and you can't focus and get tilted. Look up what that word means. As a deeply average McCree main who never seemed to get any better, they changed his name, by the way. I forgot why, but they changed his name. I don't think his name's McCree anymore. I found myself extra frustrated when I played Overwatch because I felt like I fit the stereotype of a bad female DPS player every time I missed a headshot. Well, just don't be the stereotype. Like this is like simple adversity. I'm bad at a character and they're using a stereotype against me. Okay, well, your only option is to either quit or beat the stereotype. That's it. Dudes run into this shit all the time. You're trash. You're bad. Go turn the game back in at fucking GameStop. You can either listen to them or get better at the game. That's really what it is. That's really it. If you weren't a woman, it'd be something else. If you weren't female, it would be anything else. They don't need a real reason to fuck with you. They don't. It would be something else. This is supposed to say here's. Here's the thing, though. McCree is a twitchy character, which means he requires fast, accurate reflexes to perform well while playing. So let's assume for the sake of this argument that men are generally correct in their assessments that women just aren't as good at DPS characters like McCree. Instead of taking it for granted that the X chromosome is what provides sick PC gaming skills, instead, let's ask why men might be better at twitchy DPS characters than women. Oh, okay. I know this has gone on for so long that you probably forgot, but this is one of the examples they're using to make the case for why we need accessibility in gaming. I want you to focus in on that because this has now transferred to online competitive gaming, and we're talking about accessibility in gaming, and we're about to get into why women have it harder in gaming and why we need accessibility options to defeat that evil, mean old X chromosome. That's where this is going. That's where this is fucking going. We're getting prepared now. Let's ask why men might be better at twitchy DPS characters than women. Why might the Overwatch League have had so few women in it throughout its run so far? It's had one female player. Shout out to Giguri, I think that's her name. Well, yeah, shout out to her. She's the only one with any balls to go to Overwatch League as a woman. Because that's all I see. Is she the only one that tried? Because if she's the only one that fucking tried, man, the balls. It's not about chromosomes. If you genuinely thought it was, please seek help. You're the one who brought up chromosomes, you dumbass. It's not about chromosomes. Why'd you bring it up then? What was the point of bringing it up? Fucking A. It's that the best Overwatch players have usually been playing twitchy shooters their entire lives. At the same time, the games women historically trend towards aren't valued or judged on competitive monetary scale. Who gives a fuck about monetary scale? No, what you mean to say is women do not prefer competitive games because they're different and they like different things than men. They are choosing to play something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you're the only people who think that there is something wrong with that. That's why we need accessibility. Oh my God. No matter how much time I spent honing my gunslinging skills, I didn't have the decades of experience in Overwatch's predecessors necessary to really bring home the gold. I promise this is not about my own dashed Overwatch League dreams. If I ever had any, please pass me. Whatever. I'm not reading this shit in parentheses. I promise this is not about my own dashed Overwatch League dreams. My average skills are not the baseline. Some women do have years of experience in Twitchy games despite hostility from men in the genre. Props to them. They're not bitch made. While others never experience that hostility. I guarantee you've experienced some hostility as a gamer, female or not. There's no gamer alive that hasn't experienced hostility. You have. You've run the fucking gauntlet. In contrast, others are virtuosos who can pick up a new gaming genre and instantly be good at it. That bullshit. No one has that. That's bullshit. As a whole, though, women are societally disadvantaged. Fuck. There it is. As a whole, women are societally disadvantaged in competitive Twitchy gameplay. Fucking wow. All right. The Great Hunt. The desire for exclusivity. And really, why does it matter if someone beats the game on easy that another player beats on hard or expert? See, I already went over this, but I'll say it again. And then I'm going to add some more shit on top of it. Because this shit transfers between multiple different discussions. I'm sorry if I'm too close to the mic. I can see myself peeking. Matter of fact, let me turn myself down a little bit. I'm going to explain why it matters and add some more shit on top of it. Because I know a lot of people think that, you know, gaming is a waste of time and blah, blah, blah. Men are competitive in everything. It doesn't fucking matter. Like I said, from the very first fucking video game, the entire point of it was challenge, and Pong was a co-op game. Where do you think leaderboards come from? Where do you think scoring systems, like, whatever. The point is, the reason why it matters is because whenever people are used to gaming being a certain way culturally, and we see a group of people coming in trying to upset the natural order, they think it is a mark upon the integrity of gaming. They think you're trying to change the culture to suit you and alienate the people who have been here for their entire fucking lives. Adding more onto why it matters if someone beats a game on easy that another player beat on hard, what a lot of people will do is act like those two achievements are the same. They're not the same. You beat the game on easy and they beat the game on hard. That matters. Like, if you don't beat the game on normal, it's not the way the game was meant to be played. And this is where the real part of the discussion comes in, right? Because no one gives a shit that you beat the game on easy. What people don't like is that you beat the game on easy, but you think that makes you good, or you try to make it seem like you're beating it at the level it's supposed to be beaten at. Like, you're conflating two different experiences. That's where people get upset at. Because the entire point of gaming is the challenge. Why are you playing video games just to beat them all on easy mode? I mean, you don't have to like that, but people aren't going to take you seriously if you beat games only on easy mode. It's just how it is. And then it goes on to say their victory doesn't take away from someone else's. No, it doesn't. But don't act like your victory and their victory is the same. Because it's fucking not. It's not the same. That's where the disagreement comes in. You think it's the same. They're not. Just like, I mean, you can play the game on easy and beat it. Just don't come into a discussion and try to act like you beating the game on easy has any sort of merit, because it doesn't. Perhaps it's because if anyone can play any game, then then any one gamer can't immediately say they're better than someone else by virtue of having. There's a lot of grammar errors in this shit. Let me just say what they're supposed to say. God damn it. Perhaps it's because if anyone can play any game, then any gamer can't immediately say they're better than someone else by virtue of having completed a specific title. They no longer have bragging rights. I mean, no, it's not that the person who beat the game on hard doesn't have bragging rights. It's that you don't have bragging rights. That's it. Just don't come into the discussion acting like you're the same as the guy who beat it on hard. That's it. That's all motherfuckers are saying. And not everyone wants to beat the game on fucking easy. They don't. But anyway, I'll get into the other nuances of the accessibility slider shit in a second. Because there's more to it than the options simply being there in a vacuum. This desire for exclusivity provided by games designed to be difficult from the ground up often stems from an instinctive human gut reaction of, but if anyone can play it, I won't be better than anyone else. No, motherfucker. If anyone can play it, then what's the point? It makes the game less special. If anyone can do it, what's the fucking point? Again, challenge. The entire point of games is being able to rise to a challenge. That's why easy games are fucking boring, like I said before. Like, they're trying to make it seem like this aspect of video game culture is wrong. And it's fucking not. That's the whole point. What's crazy is that these are the same type of people who would make fun of you for playing video games, and now they want to be a part of it. But not only do they want to be a part of it, they showed up, got their ass beat, and now they want to change it so that it suits them better. Sure, there might be genuine concerns about devaluing a game's mechanics or gameplay elements, but for some people, exactly, there's always a but after that. The core issue is that they like gatekeeping when they're on the right side of the gate. What the fuck does that mean? The only people who give a fuck about anything being gatekept are posers and bleeding heart, suicidal empathy. Okay, I won't call them retards. But the only two people who care about gatekeeping are posers and the suicidal empathetics. The type of people who think more equals good. We need more players. We need more shit, I don't even have any other examples. But the point is, more equals good. Those type of people. Those are the only two people that care about gatekeeping. Period. Because a person who likes something for what it is doesn't give a fuck about gatekeeping. They're enjoying the thing for what it is already. If I ever got into a new hobby, I never had a problem with anyone gatekeeping because no one ever tried. Because I was there for what the fuck was being offered. I also didn't pretend to know shit I didn't know, which is another thing. Those are the only people who have a problem with gatekeeping are bad actors, period. Those are the only people. You should always gatekeep everything. Preserve your culture. Yes. Gatekeeping was always the right thing to do. It just sucks that it took this long to fucking realize it. Gatekeeping was the right thing to do. Anyway. Gaming is supposed to be a hobby, at least for the vast majority of us with major esports contracts. Excuse me. No one without a giant ego considers themselves better than others at watching TV, and few people argue with someone who doesn't like a specific show because they got bored. Yeah, but there's no competitive TV watching, dumbass. There's no competitive element to those things. This is a fucking false equivalence. What was even the point of this example? They're not usually blamed for disliking the show. The fault lies with the product for not being interesting or accessible enough to the consumer. Well, no one fucking talks like this. No one fucking talks like this. I have never heard anyone who liked the show talk to their friend who didn't like the show and say, well, if you don't like the show, no one fucking talks like this. If you didn't like the show, the fault lies with the product for not being interesting or accessible enough to you as the consumer. No one fucking talks like this. TV is art. No, it is entertainment. TV is entertainment. So are games. No, they are not. They are entertainment. That's why there's a fucking distinction. Arts and entertainment. Arts and crafts. There's a distinction. Stop trying to make them the same. But when we exchange money for them, there's a contract between the developer and the player that they will meet in the middle. For many people, difficult games aren't meeting them in the middle. Because you're not fucking gamers. You don't like video games. Like, the entire culture around gaming, for as long as I've been alive, has been challenging gamers to play your game. Like, where do you think No Balls came from? Classic gaming fucking advertisements that didn't have hot women in them because sex sells were all about telling the gamer, no balls, you can't beat my game, no balls. Are you man enough to handle it? That's a large part of the fucking gaming advertisements I remember. Like, whatever. This reads like a bunch of people who are not immersed in the culture and have no idea what it means to actually be first of all, I don't even like the term gamer because I think that shit is corporate as hell, but they don't seem like they know what it is to be a gamer. They don't. Like, being a gamer is pretty much the same as being a sportsman. Any contest of skill harbors this same fucking mentality. Any of them. The challenge. Oh my God. I think we've gotten to the part that has the most of the that matters the most. The Gathering Storm, the role of accessibility. This history of exclusivity at great cost has a clear effect on gaming dynamics today. When recent games like Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, exclude those without the sick gaming skills, TM, to beat their game, there will be reasons why those gamers couldn't beat the game. Perhaps it's because they didn't go on YouTube and fucking figure out how to play the game more effectively. Bro, I can't tell you how many fucking games come out and somebody puts a guide out for them immediately. And I don't necessarily mean like a walkthrough guide. I mean a how to be good at the game guide. Like, what are you doing wrong? Become overpowered early type shit. I guess that counts as a walkthrough too, but you get the fucking point. There's ways around this skill gap you fucking nimrods are experiencing. It's easily correctable. You're just not doing it. And a lot of this shit doesn't even take as much time as you're fucking asserting. I guarantee half the shit you do wrong when you play these games can be corrected in one fucking session. Like, it's insane. A lot of alienated From Software players are inevitably women who don't have the lifetime. Bullshit. Okay. All right. Listen here. I don't believe women are being alienated from Software games. I think they're just not interested in them. The vast majority of them. Because I've seen women beat Sekiro, bro. I've seen the videos. I've seen women beat Sekiro. They did it live on stream. One of them cried after she did it. It's because she didn't want to give up on the fucking game. What are you talking about? There is no barrier to entry for video games. You go to GameStop, which is dead now, but you get the point. You go to GameStop, you buy your fucking console, you buy your fucking game, you put it in the fucking disc tray or download it off the online store, and you play that motherfucker. There is no barrier to entry. What are you talking about, alienated? And we're talking about a single player game. You don't even have to talk to anyone to play it. Oh, dear Lord. A lot of alienated from software players are inevitably women who don't have the lifetime of experience needed to pick up Souls game mechanics as easily as their male counterparts. And so male players seeing mostly other men will continue to believe that women don't like or aren't good enough to play difficult games, bro. Dear God. They just don't want to accept that men and women have different interests, bro. The average Souls player has lost count of the amount of deaths that they've had throughout their entire experience playing a Souls, Born, or Sekiro Dies Twice game, bro. There was a community on PS4 called Soulsborne Dies Twice. People who play those fucking games have lost count of how many times they failed before they beat the game. What are you talking about? As long as you're willing to try again, you can beat the fucking game. The only time... Who said you only fail when you stop? Fuck, I can't remember who made that quote, but you only fail when you stop. This is the prime example of that. You literally only fail when you give up. That's it. I remember playing Bloodborne, dude. I was stuck on the Orphan of Kos boss fight, bro. I was getting obliterated by that boss. I put the game down for fucking 3 months. I put Bloodborne down in front of that boss for 3 months. 3 months later, I picked the game back up and I finally beat the fucking boss. You literally only fail if you give up. Like, that's it. Whatever. This exclusion punches down, vindicating male gamers as better than those that just couldn't cut it. I mean, that's how hierarchy works, man. Do you know how many games there are from back in the day that people didn't beat? Like, I hear stories of people who grew up in the eras of early gaming talk about having drawers full of games they never beat before. Chances are I wouldn't be able to beat them shits either, because a lot of those games were made to be fucking cheap. And a lot of them are ports. A lot of them were ports of cheap-ass, quarter-munching arcade games anyway. But guess what? They didn't stop playing video games because they like them. This exclusion punches down. No, you're getting filtered. That's called getting filtered. When you can't beat a game when it's too hard, you're not being excluded, you're being filtered. Like, that's an actual term motherfuckers use. And it's not that you're better than someone else because you beat the game. It's that you can claim that you beat the game. Like, bragging rights is also a thing. It's like having ribbons in the Marine Corps. You have a ribbon on your fucking stack. That's why there's achievements in games. Do you know how worthless achievements are going to be? If every game has a fucking easy mode and you can get any achievement on any mode, it's fucking stupid. They're going to be worthless. Achievements going to be completely fucking worthless. Ignoring a history of exclusion that prevented many people from gaining those skills in the first place. Whatever. This shit was long as hell, but I'm glad I read the whole thing. I might clip some of this shit out and put it as its own video, because I want to make this shit to prove the point about the whole Doom Dark Ages shit. Accessibility in gaming is about making games playable on many different fronts. It isn't just about disability. It isn't just about disability or bringing games to younger players. Both laudable goals in their own right. Accessibility is also about acknowledging how excluding women and other minorities has created hostility for societally othered groups in gaming spaces. You see that shit right there? You see this shit? This is what it was all about, folks. This right here, this is what it was all about. I'll read it again. Accessibility in gaming is about making games playable on many different fronts. It isn't just about disability or bringing games to younger players. Both laudable goals in their own right. Accessibility is also about acknowledging how excluding women and other minorities has created hostility for societally othered groups in gaming spaces. What did I fucking say? Using the disabled as a shield. This particular publication just happened to say the quiet part out loud. That's all this shit was. So when I say no one has a fucking memory longer than 60 seconds, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. This literally already happened, but everyone is shitting on people saying this is woke. That's what I'm saying. Just play single player. Unless it's a Souls game, because all games need an easy mode, remember? Bro, where the fuck is it? This right here, this sentiment right here, you can't see me, but I'm poking my fucking monitor right now. This sentiment right here is exactly why they said this shit was woke. That's why. Because look at the options. Damage to player, damage to demons, enemy projectile speed, enemy aggression. You can turn the AI off. Parry window, days duration, game speed, resource values. Bro, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that, fine, we don't know if this game is woke yet. All right, I'll grant you that. But the concept of accessibility in gaming is 10,000% woke. Undeniably. Because I remember this shit. All of it happened at pretty much exactly the same fucking time, bro. Sekiro Shadows dies twice. And then The Last of Us 2. Actually, no, I think Sekiro came after. Did Sekiro come after? Let me check the release dates. Sekiro might have come after. Yeah, so Sekiro came in 2019. The Last of Us 2 came in 2020. So this shit happened pretty much around the same fucking time. Bitching about Sekiro and Cuphead, that shit brought journos to their knees. Enters The Last of Us 2 with its accessibility options. That shit even had a fucking section. Bro, I remember this shit. Excuse me. That shit even had its own section under, I believe, the PSN store and the Xbox store. I don't know if it was on Steam yet, because I wasn't playing Steam at the time. But I remember this shit. Accessibility in gaming had its own category. Complete with rainbow flags and all of that shit, bro. Like, dude, like, I just don't see how they thought, I just didn't see how they thought this was an overreaction. How? Archive this shit, bro. Archive this shit, please. Because this is the evidence. All I'm saying is that they're not overreacting. That's it. That's all I'm saying. This has devalued their gaming experiences, focusing on the ones they've been. This has devalued their gaming experiences, focusing on the ones that they've been excluded from instead. God damn it. Either I'm having a stroke or they wrote that wrong. I might be having a stroke. This has devalued their gaming experiences, focusing on the ones they've been excluded from instead. And then blaming the excluded parties for not being good at the games they've been kept away from. What the fuck? Bro, they're insane. I'm screenshotting this. I'm screenshotting the shit out of this. I'm screenshotting this. The delusion is insane. It's insane, dog. I have to screenshot. And now the snipping sketch wants to be a cunt. This is taking longer than it should have, but there's been so much crazy shit that's been said in these articles. Like, I'm going to read this whole thing. Accessibility in gaming is about making games playable on many different fronts. It isn't just about disability or bringing games to younger players, both laudable goals in their own right. Accessibility is also about acknowledging how excluding women and other minorities has created hostility for societally othered groups in gaming spaces. This has devalued their gaming experiences, focusing on the ones they've been excluding from instead, and then blaming the excluded parties for not being good at the games they've been kept away from. Again, no, you have not been excluded. You've been filtered. You played the game. You were allowed to buy a console, buy the game, play the game. You were filtered because you didn't get good. I know, bro. People say that get good culture was one of the worst things to come about from the Souls shit. But what they don't understand is get good was a thing prior to Souls. Get good was revived by Souls. Get good was always a thing. It might not have been expressed in that same way, but it was always a fucking thing. Get good was always a thing. Insisting on the validity of skill-based twitchy games perpetuates the same gendered... I have to screenshot this too, because this shit is stupid as well. Let me save this. Because some dumb shit is underway. Some shit takes are under fucking way, dog. Some shit takes are underway. Dear God. Perpetuates. Insisting on the validity of skill-based twitchy games perpetuates the same gendered gatekeeping that's been around for decades. What the fuck does that mean? Gendered gatekeeping. You think there's no men that fucking suck at video games? Men are never told to get good? This is gendered gatekeeping. Okay. We've come far enough. Fucking A. We've come far enough that saying women can't play based on their gender itself is obviously bad, or you'd think it would be. So relying on a skill-based argument while ignoring all the social context behind the popularity of certain types of games is just a new version of this gatekeeping, and so the wheel turns. Game hard, women most affected. Women and minorities most affected. It's funny how conveniently all roads lead back to sexism, even though the skill-based argument includes everybody and a fucking dog. Not just a mama, they dog. Like, whatever. Man, everyone included, women most affected. Jesus Christ. Lord of Chaos. Artistic expression in gaming. I am not saying that women aren't skilled at playing video games. Well, shit, you could have fucking fooled me. They are. You could have fooled me. Those games are simply not valued, and they're not the games people recreate with higher and higher difficulty scales until it becomes a genre unto itself. In fact, it's borderline impossible to earn a living off games women are often good at least without a Twitch account. Oh, so we're just going to immediately backtrack. We're going to immediately backtrack our statement by saying without fucking it. All right. But what about art for art's sake, right? People can create whatever they want, but it's worth asking why people want to design games that rely on difficulty in the first place, as well as what it says about the games that get popular. When I look at that moment of conception to why people are driven to exclude others in prioritizing difficulty, so much so that it becomes an integral component of gameplay, I get that urge for creation myself. Yeah, make your own easy-ass games. Make them. Compete in the market. Please, compete in the market. What the fuck do they mean? Why people are driven to exclude others? What does that mean? First of all, you are not owed inclusivity. People don't have to include you in shit. That goes for everyone. You get in where you fit in or get the fuck out. Period. That's every game ever made, ever. Shit, everything ever made, ever, really. Any medium. Again, when you try to make something for everyone, you make something for no one. And by extension, if you try to make everything for everyone, you make nothing for no one. For example, I love to see games with high difficulty. Could have fooled me. I'd love to see games with high difficulty scales based on mechanics used in the misaligned or what? Based on mechanics used in the misaligned or sidelined female marketed genres. You would not like to see that. I guarantee. You would not like to see that. As a thought experiment only, of course. I was correct. Since it would be antithetical to my beliefs about accessibility in gaming if games like this were actually created and marketed with no difficulty sliders. Oh, a direct admission that difficulty sliders are a part of accessibility in gaming and by extension woke. I hope motherfuckers see my point by now. I hope they see my point by now. She literally said, I would love to see this type of game, but not really. But I'm supposed to take the rest of this shit she's about to say seriously. Basically, I'm asking what a very, very difficult version of a Sims game would look like. Or how good Dragon Age 4 would be if its gameplay heavily depended on the personal choices a player makes in side quests. What if the player loses major tactical and level advantages because they fumbled an emotional moment or tried to skip a cutscene? To the point of failing the game. What about a Nancy Drew game where the puzzles rely on the player's instinctual, decades-long understanding shared by the primarily female fan base of her interactive games? Again, what the fuck was the point of this? I would love to see games of this type, but only as a thought experiment because it'd go against my beliefs, which is to say I'd love to see this, but not really. And then I'm going to name a bunch of examples pointlessly. I doubt any of these games would be well received or widely popular. Yes, because women like different things. What was the point of this fucking thought experiment? Despite them integrating difficulty as a core mechanic into their gameplay. Yes, because here's the thing. Here's another thing about the every game needs an easy mode argument, right? Literally nobody argues in the inverse. There's not a person alive who went on to argue every game needs a hard mode. No one fucking said it. Because gamers intrinsically understand that different games are made for different people. Different games have different points, different goals, different structures. Every game shouldn't be any certain type of way because that's the point. Saying that every game needs an easy mode is like saying every ice cream flavor should be chocolate. Some people don't like chocolate, dumbass. That's why there's more than one flavor. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm so glad I read the rest of this shit. Oh boy. Naysayers of accessibility argue that this integration is artistically excuse me. Naysayers of accessibility argue that this integration is artistically valuable, but these games wouldn't appeal to the main demographic that applauds challenging gameplay because they don't award the types of skills that mainstream gaming culture has traditionally rewarded. Yeah, they would. Bro, you're just dunking on yourself at this point. What is your argument to this well-reasoned what is your response to this well-reasoned and thought-out argument? I must know. Thousands of games come out every second of every day. In parentheses, that's a 100% accurate number. Look it up. Whatever. So I'm sure there are games out there like the ones I have posited. But they certainly don't garner the same kind of attention from software games have. That entire section of this article was just fucking pointless bullshit. A memory of light. And so the wheel turns. It will take time, decades even, for large groups of women to gain the... What? Oh. The elite gamer skills. She typed it out in elite speak. In genres they have been traditionally excluded from. Again, this word excluded. No. No, you have not been excluded from games. It's a fucking lie. Or you're using a different definition of the word excluded so that your fucking argument makes sense. A lot of this goes on in discussions of legitimacy as well, because this is yet another discussion of legitimacy where you have to change the definition of words so your thing fucking fits. Exclusion is not what the fuck you're trying to say it is. Playing a game and not being good enough to beat it is not exclusion in the way that you're positing. Cut it the fuck out. There are two ethical courses of action moving forward. The first is to facilitate online environments where women feel comfortable being average. Sometimes bad, sometimes good, and all human for long periods of time. Just like anyone else. No, not just like anyone else. Because if you're bad, there's a chance you will be made fun of. If you're bad, you will definitely lose. My bad, somebody started banging on something. If you're average, you'll be 50-50. But, like, that's not how it works. Because people who play video games understand these dynamics. They're knocking loud as shit outside. Eventually, some of these women will inevitably, as the kids say, get good. After all, the male McCree mains at my skill level likely never felt like they were misrepresenting their entire gender whenever they had a bad game. Yeah, because men don't think like that. And I say this as if women do when this is clearly a feminist and only feminists think like this. I'm misrepresenting my entire gender because I was bad at playing a video game. That shit's ridiculous. Seek help. The second is to start valuing all games and all the gamers who play them as much as gaming culture values male-centered gaming experiences traditionally. Again, well, not again. I didn't say this at all tonight, but gaming is a male space. Sorry. Men made it. Men have maintained it. Men enjoy it. It's male-dominated for a reason. If you're a woman and you want to participate in games, you're going to have to accept that shit. I'm not even going to lie. The majority of pop culture is male-dominated. If you like those things and you want to be a part of those things, feel free. But just understand that is the case. And the only people who are trying to infiltrate these spaces and change them to their liking are fucking intersectionals and feminists. Excuse me. And that's why we're having this disagreement. And this is why it's important that you have a long fucking memory. Because as I've said a few times, This Doom the Dark Ages discussion has pretty much already fucking happened. This article is proof. This is the end of the article. I'm sorry that shit took so long, but I had to make this point tonight because I just got fucking tired of people making it seem like the Doom players who called this shit woke were crazy and that they were just seeing things and that they were being unreasonable. I just got fucking tired of it because this shit happens all the time. People who are ahead of the curve get called crazy or delusional or whatever the fuck, while everyone else who forgets what already happened, somehow they're more reasonable and inadvertently have clicked over into the wait and see aisle of the fucking discussion when they don't fucking have to. Let's get this shit over with so I still have 2 more topics, by the way. Hopefully they're faster than this one. I'm not even gonna look at can I play that in the gaming accessibilities checklist. I'll probably look at this shit on my own time because this is a part of that discussion too, by the way. But let's just go ahead and close this out. Until then, accessibility is the way to go. It levels the playing field by recognizing that everyone comes into gaming with different experiences. Some women will have lots of experience with twitchy shooters or Souls-likes, and many won't. Some disabled gamers will appreciate additional features while others won't want or need them. Some gamers will have never picked up a controller before, while some will claim to have been holding the Duke in the womb. What? Their poor mothers. What? Wow, okay. Ultimately, we need to recognize the social and cultural context for all of these audiences, understand how toxic, sexist behavior has led to the widespread exclusion of women from many gaming populations, and respond to these issues by using what we've learned to inform future endeavors. The advantages of including people nearly always outweigh the negative. Bullshit. More does not equal better. Bold words and bolder claims, I know. Stunning and brave. But this is what accessibility is all about. Also, add Waluigi to Smash. Robert Jordan said that. If there was ever a way to conclude my point, perfect. Fucking perfect. All right. Hopefully, you guys understand why people are saying that this is woke at this fucking point. Because it's not the option itself. Because you'll get those people who tell you accessibility sliders have been a thing forever. You're 10 years late and all right. First of all, there's a difference between difficulty sliders and accessibility sliders. First off, second off, they didn't appear in the same form, so they are not the fucking same. You're conflating 2 different things. Second off, it's not the option being concluded by itself in a vacuum. This decision to include things like this came after something else. It came after the idea of accessibility in gaming. All games need an easy mode. I don't have time to get good. Women and minorities are excluded. Using the disabled as a fucking shield. It came after all of that shit. So whenever you see someone react to this picture and say things like Fisher Price game, Doom the Woke Ages, and shit like that, maybe, just fucking maybe, they might be on to some shit. Maybe. That is all that I am saying. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Who is in here? Oh yeah, you're a bot. Here, bot. Get him out of here, boss beast. Do I have a mod in the live? Just hide them from the channel, please. Just get them out of here. If I have any mods in chat, please just hide that person. What the fuck is this? Thank you, Sham. The fuck was that? You're excluding me by not checking DMs, bro. I'm not checking DMs right now. Okay, I'm gonna get to the remainder of gaming news I have to talk about. That segment was an hour 38 minutes. I think it needed to be completely honest, because I think I proved my point effectively enough. Okay, while I'm spoiling the next topic, honestly, I think I'm just good to jump into it anyway, because I've rambled and ranted long enough on the previous topic. Anyway, this next one's going to be coming from Fandom Pulse. Former Concord director of marketing and operations joins Halo Studios as senior product marketing manager. I can't even begin to pronounce this last name. Piscatello? Pamela Piscatello, the director of marketing and operations for Firewalk Studios and its Concord game, has officially joined Halo Studios as a senior product marketing manager. Piscatello posted to LinkedIn last month, "I'm happy to share that I'm starting a new position as senior product marketing manager working on Halo at Xbox, excuse me. First order of business, more cat helmets. God help us." Oh boy. Oh my lord. Cat helmets. All right. Oh no! Something else about Doom the Dark. I'm not gonna read it now. I might do an update or some shit. I'm not gonna read it now. But it says gamers fear the worst for Doom the Dark Ages campaign, and they might be right. I don't know if that's an omen for something, but we're going to put a pin in it for now. I will resist the urge. This announcement has obviously raised significant concern from gamers after former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern shared the news to X. Many predicted this would be the end of Halo. This would be the end of Halo? This? Halo hasn't already ended with the terrible fucking Master Chief Collection launch and all the other shit y'all did prior to hiring her? Nah, Halo been dead, bro. We just have necromancers in charge now. Excuse me, I laughed so hard I snorted. Azrael Bjornsson, bye Halo Studios. We'll put DEI and woke shit in this game because we know better, and then blame our customers when the layoffs start. That's how it goes. Wade Whalen wrote, "Where there is a franchise left to kill, they will find it, because leeching off established franchises is the only way they could ever possibly get the success they are wanting so badly. Although they don't care if it kills the franchise or not, since they only want representation and nothing else. And if in getting that representation it kills the studio, then as far as they are concerned, that is a sacrifice they are more than willing to make." Holy shit. Oh man. Freeman Phil posted, "The worst part of modern society is the complete and utter lack of accountability and responsibility. As long as someone parrots the correct politics, they can do no wrong in the eyes of their comrades." Very keen choice of wording there at the end. Errata wrote, "This is how the woke rot spreads. These people are all networked. As soon as one gets into a big studio position with any authority..." Please hide that other bot. There's another bot in here. Get them out of here, please. Should I be on my phone? Maybe I should be able to hide people from my phone. I'm going to do that because they're here to disrupt shit. Thank you very much, Sham. Appreciate you. Where was I? Oh, yeah. As soon as one gets into a big studio position with any authority, they start bringing in their buddies. Then they start getting rid of the actually talented veteran devs that don't subscribe to their ideology. They're like a cancerous tumor growing ever bigger and consuming ever more money and time and energy until the whole studio dies. Yeah, it's hate trolls. What's going on, Skimbles? You're a new face. Evil Florida was too. I'm seeing some new names in here. I appreciate y'all. As evidenced above for many gamers, the hiring of Piscatello is clearly a red flag for Halo Studios. But it's not the first one. It's nowhere near the fucking first one. Dear God, bro. Where have y'all been? The company revealed that its chief of staff is Melissa Boone back in October during a video announcing it was rebranding to Halo Studios. As noted on Microsoft's website, Boone manages research across several Xbox franchises and experiences, including Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, Double Fine Studios, and the Xbox Store. She also leads research. Oh, God. Fake job. She also leads research in diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. Oh, there's that word again. There's that word again, guys. Accessibility across Xbox's games and experiences. With a focus on making Xbox a place where everyone has fun. I swear to God, motherfuckers have short-ass memories. How am I running into all this shit at once? Like I'm getting proven right incrementally now. Like it's crazy. It's almost like accessibility is woke. I didn't mean to click on that. Because it only ever became an issue recently. Anyway. Before the rebrand, the company had also committed itself to the LGBTQ plus agenda in various posts on social media. At the beginning of June last year, it wrote on X, Happy Pride Month, embrace love, diversity, and inclusion by equipping the Unity 24 armor coating nameplate and the emblem in Halo Infinite this June. Let's stand together in honoring our LGBTQIA plus community and forging a future of unity and acceptance for all. I always point this out. I will never stop pointing this out. What the fuck does being black have to do with being gay? The black and brown stripe has been included to represent black people. What the fuck does it have to? What is it? Well, how? What? Why? You know what I mean? What the fuck? Like the trans and black colors are whatever. Whatever. Later in the month, it highlighted so-called fan art, which in reality is just propaganda, promoting the LGBTQ plus agenda. Oh, Lord. The official Halo page. It's that time again to round up a selection of the latest and greatest community creations for a new spotlight issue, and there's this Master Chief holding the alphabet flag. The L is silent. According to Moby Games, Piscatello has been working in marketing in the video game industry since 2010 when she worked on Section 8. Section 8. She's previously worked at Xbox and Microsoft, Halo Studios' parent company. Other games she's marketed include The Amazing Spider-Man 2012, Deadpool 2013, Transformers Rise of the Darkspark 2014, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 2014, Destiny 2 2017, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and Call of Duty Warzone 2020. What do you make of Piscatello joining Halo Studios as the company's senior product marketing manager? He's playing Capture the Flag. Oh my God. Thank you for sniping any trolls that pop up in the chat. Whoever's here being the VIP for tonight, because I actually can't. I can't snipe people from OBS. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Sham. Appreciate you, dog. But yeah, reading the comments here, another company wanting to save me money. That's pretty much how I feel about it. Because again, these people know what the market demands. They're not ignorant. For the first 5 years of this entire culture war exchange, we thought that maybe they weren't hearing us. We were taking them on good faith. But then these people started being more outward facing about how they feel about their customers. Emboldened, if you will. And we fucking took notice. They know what the fuck you want. They just don't give a shit about giving it to you because something else is more important. So as Ruby Mosh says, another company wanting to save me money. We can live without video games. We don't fucking need them. There's a fucking almost 100-year library worth of games that we could play and never touch a modern game ever again. Granted, a lot of those games are probably shit. Doesn't matter. There's plenty of gems that we've never even heard of. Next comment. Lancaster Marin. Well, considering Concord's astounding marketing strategy, should they rename the position to Senile Product Marketing Manager? Just a thought. Also, at this point, we are approaching the bizarre situation in which one of the mandatory questions during recruitment process should be on a scale of 0 to 500 million. How much of your previous studio's money did you lose? All right, that was a good comment. That was fucking great. Ah, shit, that was it? Those were the only comments? Fuck. They were pretty good. But hey, man, the wheel turns, goddamn, like, it's only gonna get worse. We were warned prior to this that the mainstream leftist ideology that was present in games of yesteryear is only gonna get worse, man. It's only gonna get more and more unbearable. They're gonna make decisions that you wouldn't believe they would still be making. You're gonna think this is as stupid as they could possibly get, and still, whether you're impressed or mortified, they will sink lower. They will get even more. They will get even more stupider. More stupider. That's just how it's gonna happen. So many books too. Yes, plenty of books. The publishing industry across all mediums is its own can of worms. It's its own fucking can of worms. And shit, that talk is very long. I might do a video on the publishing industry too, actually. Not for comics and novels, possibly, because they're experiencing the same shit. The same rot, the same cultural rot has infested everything. It's the same. It's the same. It's the identical problem. It has to be cut off like a gangrenous fucking limb. Anyway. Next topic. Oh, wait. I might cover that Doom the Dark Ages. Yeah, fuck, it's an hour 52 minutes. You know what? Fuck it. I'll cover it. But after this one. I'll cover it after this one because it's still relevant. Unfortunately for me, I needed a couple articles to prove my point. Just so people understood, and a video. Just so people understood that I'm not bullshitting and that my reasoning comes from somewhere. But such is life. If it took that long to prove my point, that's how long it fucking took. At least now people understand where the fuck I'm coming from. Anyway, next one is going to be from Game Rant. Rumor. Pointless 6 leak may hint at console's release window. The PS6 SoC is reportedly targeting a late 2025 tape-out. Sony has historically entered the SoC tape-out phase around 2 years ahead of commercializing whatever console was meant to incorporate the target chip. This claim hence suggests that the PS6 may be released as early as late 2027. The PlayStation 6 may hit the market as early as late 2027, as suggested by a new report from a well-known industry insider. Thus, purported release window aligns with what Sony itself previously said about how long this current console generation is going to last, as part of a consolidated financial report published in February 2024. Sony president and CFO Hiroki Totoki, fucked that up almost. No, I pretty much fucked it up. Hiroki Totoki said that the 2020 PlayStation 5 had already entered the latter half of its life cycle at the time. Yeah, but here's the thing. A great majority of this console's life cycle, nobody could get their fucking hands on it. Another great majority, no fucking games. None. Exclusive or otherwise, bro. Where's the new shit? Where's the new franchises? For the love of God, stop with the sequels and remakes. Now, don't get me wrong. These motherfuckers are cheating because some games companies are bringing back franchises people have been telling them to bring back forever. I'm not counting that because a lot of the franchises they're bringing back are ones that really didn't have satisfying endings. For example, Capcom's Onimusha. People were asking for a full line of remakes for those games. People didn't even want a new game for real. But they're making a new game. Now, if they would remake those, I'd buy them. No, okay, I swear to God. If they censor the games, I'm not buying them shits because I'm tired of that too. They remake the game, but they take out the shit that made it charming. Why? Well, we know why, but you get my fucking point. It's annoying. I want to give you my money, but you don't want me to give it to you for some reason. Like when Ninja Gaiden Black, people were gaslighting some fans who were more perceptive that there was, in fact, censorship of the game. And as it turns out, it fucking was. There was censorship. What are you talking about? There's no censorship. There was censorship because people's eyeballs fucking work. Luckily, the original version of that Ninja Gaiden game in particular, I think it was Ninja Gaiden 2, if I'm remembering right, is still available. Like the original remasters are still available. So I'm going to buy those instead of the new one. Anyway. The statement, which subsequently reiterated by Sony SVP Naomi, god damn it, these damn Japanese names, I'm sorry, by Sony SVP Naomi Matsuoka, indicated that the PS6 is on course to hit the market no later than 2028. The possibility of an even earlier release has now been raised by NeoGAF user Kepler L2, who previously correctly leaked a number of PS5 Pro details in addition to sharing many other hardware-related scoops. On January 17, Kepler L2 reported that the PS6 is design complete and currently in pre-silicon validation. Motherfucker, is it game complete? Because here's the thing. We've long since reached the point of diminishing returns in gaming. The point of diminishing returns is so drastic at this point in time that we no longer effectively have a measuring stick to dictate what constitutes a next gen experience. We have no idea. Also, do we even need more graphic fidelity? Do we really give a shit about graphic fidelity that much? Like, don't get me wrong, I love great visuals, but here's the thing. Games should be stylized because stylizing your game makes it timeless. I don't give a fuck about seeing the beads of sweat on LeBron James's fucking forehead. I don't give a shit about none of that. Those aren't the games that stick with me. The extremely, oh wow, look at how realistic. I don't give a shit. Realism where it matters is cool because it actually adds to the gameplay experience, but realism for realism's sake is a cancer, which, by the way, realism for the sake of realism is also woke, which is something nobody really talks about for real. Yeah, that concept there, that's also woke because they found out gamers don't really like that and they put it in the game. Just like the movie, game, cinematic experience shit is also woke. Interactive experiences. Yeah, there's more to woke than the alphabet agenda. Like, it's mainstream. That's why people have started saying woke equals mainstream leftist ideology, because their ideology changes with the fucking wind. They adopt new software. But anyway, on January 17, Kepler LT reported that the PS6 is design complete and currently in pre-silicon validation, indicating that Sony is currently in the process of testing the console's system on chip digitally to ensure that it works as intended before moving on to creating its first physical prototypes. The initial iteration of the PS6 SoC is said to be codenamed AO. I don't know how to pronounce that. AO. With its tape out scheduled for late 2025. Sony has historically moved to the SoC tape out phase, the process of manufacturing test chips, roughly 2 years before commercializing such silicon in mass-produced consoles. PS6 SoC's process node is still an unknown. Should history repeat itself this time around, the PS6 may be released in late 2027. In that event, the PS5 would end up having a similar lifespan to the PS4, which also hit the market 7 years before its successor. The process node of the next-gen console's chip is still an unknown. The PS5's SoC utilizes TSMC's N7 node family. I'm not going to lie to y'all. None of this shit means anything to a gamer. None of this shit means anything to them. This shit means something to engineers. Does it run games? That's all I give a fuck about. I don't give a shit about what the node family. Fuck that. I don't care about none of that, bro. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Specifically, the 7nm manufacturing process, while its PS5 Pro counterpart relies on the 6nm process from the same family. The PS6 is rumored to be based on AMD's UDNA architecture, the successor to the RDNA 4, which was previously codenamed RDNA 5, and is expected to introduce a 3nm die shrink. However, it remains unclear if the 3nm node will be the sole manufacturing process in this family. I like how they say this shit like I'm supposed to be stroking my chin reading going, Like, I don't know what the fuck you're telling me. What the hell is it? What is a 3nm node? I don't know what the fuck that is. What is that? What is that? I have no idea. This was not written with layman in mind. Whatever. PS6 might beat next-gen Xbox console to the market. A potential late 2027 PS6 release suggests that Sony's next console could arrive ahead of the Xbox Series X/S successors, poorly redacted documents from Microsoft's legal battle with the FTC over the Activision Blizzard acquisition in 2023 revealed that the Xbox maker is targeting a 2028 release for its next console, or at least that was the plan as of 2022. When the leaked documents originated, I read that at the wrong tone, sorry. Either way, if the AO SoC does enter the physical prototype stage of development in late 2025, more PS6 hardware leaks could emerge by early 2026. The real question is, who gives a fuck? Like, be honest. Who really gives a shit? Who's excited for the PS6? Yay! Nobody. Nobody gave a fuck about the PS5 Pro. Who bought that shit? And it's like Skimble says, consoles are a live service now. Exactly. Gaming has become so corporate. It fucking hurts, dog. Everyone's trying to... What? Fuck. There was another article I ended up finding that showed the statistics for how many studios are trying to create the next live service game. It was a large percentage. And it's insane. They're trying to scheme up new ways to nickel and dime the player when they literally don't have to do that shit at all. They don't give a fuck. You're a pay pig. This is why anti-consumerism is a drum that needs to be constantly beaten. Yeah, Rev. The PS6 already. But here's the thing, though. It has technically almost been 7 years. But like I explained before, for the first half of this console generation, motherfuckers couldn't get their hand on the PS5. And then there's been no games. So exactly, already? It's like you're trying to give me another plate of food and I ain't even finished the first one. Matter of fact, you didn't even give me the first one. Fucking A. Let's read some of these comments. While a 2027 release would have the PS5's lifespan match that of the PS4, it still feels kind of early, or rather the PS5 still feels new to me. Yeah, it feels new to me too. There's been like, this experience came and went, bro. No one's going to remember this console generation as anything other than fucking terrible. They're going to hear about this console generation and fucking groan, bro. Because everyone who bought the PS5 still feels scammed. I don't know how people who bought Xbox feel, though. They might feel scammed. I don't know. I heard a lot of things about Sea of Z's. Anyway, literally no reason to launch a 6 within the next few years. Tech hasn't advanced at all. Why bother? Again, I just said this shit. Like, what constitutes a next-gen experience? Do we even need more graphic fidelity? I mean, like, what's the point? Do we even have the tech is the jump from here to there even that big? How do you gauge a next-gen experience? Consoles are pretty much just going to go the way of the iPhone now. But guess what? They're in for a rude fucking awakening. They're not even trying to cater to the fucking systems they got out now. So why the fuck would I be excited to buy some new shit you put out? A brand new, probably $700 console. Why would I buy that shit? Why? For what? One game, I don't know why I got a PS5 with no games to buy. Anyone remember that parody? Yeah, I do. Exactly. Like, oh my God. Every supposed exclusive ended up going to PC. What the fuck? I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think people would care about that as much if there was anything else to play. Because that's the real fucking problem, right? Because even back in the Xbox 360, PS3 era, you would have games be exclusives for a little bit and then they'll go to PC. But there's nothing to fucking play, so it's a lot more fucking noticeable now. The reason why people cared about exclusives so much in this generation is because they motherfuckers had hella buyer's remorse, me included, and they needed a reason to justify why they bought this piece of shit in the first place. This fucking doorstop, bro. Why'd they buy it? They needed something, anything, to prove to them that they didn't buy this shit for exactly no reason. It never came. It never came. Player Scam 5. Oh, man. Player Scam 6, 2027. Oh my God, bro. I swear to God, you PC master race. You PC masturbates motherfuckers. I'm so tired of you. P.S. insert number here is cool, I suppose, for console peasants, but for those of us who are just a bit more invested in gaming. I mean, if you know, you know. PC Master Race. Fuck around and find out. Yeehaw, LOL, bye now. Fuck y'all, bro. All PC masturbates, always including themselves in console discussions when nobody fucking asked you, goddammit. Go away. The PS5 seems newer than it really is because it was so scarce at launch. It wasn't until fall 2023 that they actually became widely available due to the No, it was not due to the pandemic. They lied to you. They were drip feeding consoles on purpose because they saw the hype. They wanted to get more money off that hype y'all were generating. They had consoles. They were bullshitting. They liked the publicity. That's why they didn't make them widely available as soon as they were. I think 2026 is too soon. 2027 to 2028 seems more reasonable. A lot of people, myself included, have yet to get a PS5 and the PS4 is still chugging along. I want to see how it does up against the Switch 2 as well. The Switch 2 is another pointless fucking console, in my opinion. Is there really any point doing that apart from taking more people's hard-earned money? PS5 does everything it needs to unless the graphics, gameplay is incredibly advanced and you have a TV that can support it. Y'all are coming out with game systems entirely too fast to even enjoy them. It's crazy and doesn't make sense. I mean, even back when the PS4 and Xbox One were supposed to come out, I was one of the few people who said, yo, this feels too soon. But we were also in a fantastic generation for games, and it had technically been 7 years. I still thought the shit was too soon. Whatever. Astrobot was basically the first game. Yeah, you're right. Astro's Playroom was the first game on PS5. Correct. And who the fuck bought a PS5 to play that shit? Who? Oh, okay. I managed to bring this shit to 2 hours and 10 minutes by my lonesome. This never fucking happens. All right. Perhaps I should look into better techniques, like more topics. But there's not always weeks where there's a topic as juicy as the Doom Dark Ages one. There just isn't. There was so much nuance and history behind that one topic in particular that it warranted taking an entire hour by itself. Because like I said, people on the internet have short fucking memories. Book talk next time. Actually, Skimbles, I'm going to need your help with that. Because what kind of books do you want me to talk about? Because I could do that. Because I talk about comic books sometimes too. Well, a couple of my favorite novels. Yeah, I could talk about that. I could definitely talk about that. Yeah. Ah, man, I read a lot of novels in my formative years. Matter of fact, my sisters recently brought my book collection to my house, and there's a lot of them. There's so many of them. I have an Xbox 360 box just full of paperbacks downstairs too. That's not all of them, but that one was relevant to bring up because it's an Xbox 360 box. It was just funny, and kind of relevant. But anyway, this is gonna be the final topic of the night, and don't worry, Skimbles, I will figure out a way to start including novels in this because there's actually something that happened recently involving novels that I haven't covered yet, and it has to deal with Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if you heard, but we'll save it for my next show for the Monkey's Paw. All right. This next one is going to come from Fandom Pulse again. You saw me select it literally during the Fandom Pulse article. I don't even know why I'm acting. But anyway. Gamers fear the worst for Doom the Dark Ages campaign, and they might be right. Let's see what they're saying. id Software, owned by ZeniMax Media Inc. and one of the key studios within Microsoft's Xbox Game Studios division, recently revealed a developer sneak peek of the latest entry in the Doom franchise. According to Hugo Martin, Doom the Dark Ages story is easier to access now as we've taken the narrative out of the codex and into the cutscenes featuring new characters, old allies, and powerful new villains. Okay. Yeah. Easier to access. Doom the Dark Ages story is easier to access. Yeah, he did say that. I didn't pay that any attention when I watched the game showcase. But given everything I've said tonight, okay, yeah, maybe there's a lot more merit to him saying that than I originally thought, because it literally just passed. I was paying so much attention to the trailer, I didn't really pay attention or have the time to break down what he said. But the word access, especially easier to access, is very telling. As a matter of fact, story is easier to access is very telling. Very telling. Jesus. Gamers over social media, particularly X, have dissected every bit of id Software's segment during the latest Xbox Developer Direct, which took place on January 23rd this year. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, this year. I'm stupid. It's February 3rd, 2025. So, some of them have expressed concern about the game's introduction of a female character with peculiar masculine features. Some others have focused on the introduction of accessibility features in Doom the Dark Ages, while others have pointed out that Doom's story mode may be the perfect vehicle for a bait-and-switch strategy. I didn't even know this was a thing. There was a character with man jaw. Didn't know that. New gay and trans characters. Didn't know that. I didn't know this much was released about the game's story. Doom the Woke 8. Yeah, I saw this. The accessibility sliders thing. I saw that. That's the only thing I fucking saw. It's easy to dismiss these concerns as mere exaggerations and snowflake complaints, which is exactly what this was the entire point of me covering what I covered tonight. Yeah. Everyone has been dismissing all of the complaints as this. I believe I'm using this word correctly. Conjecture. Pretty much conjecture. But, however, reflecting upon the cause for these concerns, exactly. It's like this article, it's like they knew. It's like they knew I was here tonight. Reflecting upon the cause for these concerns shines valuable insights that may validate gamer fears. Studios under the Xbox Game Studios label have continuously been exposed for promoting leftist agendas. This is also correct. I didn't even know this was a studio under Xbox. Did they buy studios in association with Doom? I had no idea. The recent reports that have come out regarding Obsidian and Compulsion Games culture, where the use of pronouns is enforced in internal comms while prioritizing liberal agendas over conservative points of view, strengthen the argument that id Software may have also been subjected to these draconian practices. I didn't even know any of that. There's a YouTube video here. How long is this shit? 19 minutes? No. I'll watch this shit on my own time. Yeah, I'll watch that shit on my own time. As it has evidenced over the past year with the Sweet Baby Inc. scandal, DEI consultants have the most influence over storylines and character designs. You too, Skimbles. Thanks, man. Thanks for watching. That's why Doom the Dark Ages focus on story seems suspicious to the conservative gamer. I'm not even going to lie to you. I hate that so much of this culture war shit has become political, because the vast majority of people pointing shit like this out aren't even conservative. Hell, most of them are not even political. Like they don't have a label. They're like politically homeless. Like this shit is suspicious to many different types of gamers, not just conservative ones. Like, according to Martin, the story of Doom the Dark Ages, like everything else in the game, is big. It's a summer blockbuster event with everything on the line, and you are the star of the show. Your power is coveted by your enemies and withheld from your allies. With the Slayer imprisoned at the start of our story, the balance of power between good and evil is shifting and time is running out. I hate that they went with the Slayer being imprisoned at the start of the story again, but okay. It's a new story and the perfect entry point for new players. It's easier to access now, as we've taken the narrative out of the codex and into the cutscenes, featuring new characters, old allies, and powerful new villains. That description may sound exciting, although a bit safe and corporate, but a slightly deeper analysis uncovers reasons to be concerned. Exactly. Let's go over them one by one. It's a summer blockbuster event. Okay, that is an odd way to describe a video game. That's a pretty fucking odd way to describe a video game. Video games are not movies. Hollywood isn't necessarily at a peak right now, but in terms of revenue and cultural impact, both in terms of revenue and cultural impact, gamers are aware of how Hollywood has devolved into a factory of woke propaganda over the past decade. Therefore, comparing Doom's story to a summer blockbuster event may not be the kind of comparison gamers expect. Well, even without all the woke shit, video games just aren't movies. Like, I don't want a game to be compared to a summer blockbuster event. That's like one of the last things in recent years I would ever want a game to be compared to. But anywho, let's not forget the fact that treating movies as events, just like the MCU did at the end of the last God damn it, I'm reading this wrong. Let's not forget the fact that treating movies as events, just like the MCU did at the end of the last decade, is just an excuse to turn a piece of entertainment into a glorified trailer. Pretty much. And here's the thing, though. Treating movies as events isn't a bad thing in and of itself. It's just that these idiots, for some reason, forgot what it took to get to that level. Like, that took work. That was like over a decade of work. And they're trying to shortcut it with all these new franchises. It's not gonna fucking happen. There's nuance and depth and character building and world building and a bunch of work. God damn it, there was work behind it. So it's not gonna happen. You are the star of the show. There's a case to be made about the RPGification of Western entertainment, which may have resulted in a net negative overall due to the influence of DEI consultants. When contemporary studios use the word "you" at the center of the story, gamers have reasons to be worried about any injection of DEI content, such as pronouns or progressive decisions, as evidenced by games such as Starfield, BioWare's Dragon Age: The Veil Guard, and the upcoming Avowed, another title about Xbox Game Studios. It's a new story and the perfect entry point for new players. The Doom franchise prior to 2016 didn't really need a story. After all, Doom is all about destroying and eviscerating demons at a frantic pace. Why is id Software interested in creating a perfect entry point for new players? having efforts to appeal to the widest possible demographic ended in miserable outcomes over the past decade, as evidenced by the Star Wars franchise? I mean, that's part of my point that I made tonight. More does not equal good. It's easier to access now as we've taken the narrative out of the codex and into the cutscenes. A game's codex is an interesting narrative device that adds mystery and intrigue to how a story is told. Why has id Software decided to take narrative elements out of the codex and into cutscenes? It seems gratuitous at best and insidious at worst, since DEI consultants are notable for using cutscenes as a way to spread feminist and LGBTQ propaganda. Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 and Naughty Dog's The Last of Us are good examples of this. Doom: The Dark Ages looks like a promising title, but given the way its story was teased in the history of Microsoft pushing LGBTQ and feminist propaganda through its Xbox Game Studios division, gamers have valid concerns to be wary of the game's release. And that is all that I've been fucking saying. That's it. We don't know anything. Sure, you can say that. Whatever. This is not enough to go off of. Stop acting like people's concerns are not founded, because they fucking are. They are well founded. Some of us don't have fucking short memories. But anyway, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about the topics I discussed tonight. And honestly, it just so happens that, well, actually, no, it doesn't just so happens. A lot of the topics that ended up coming through during the week were about shows that were coming out related to pop culture content as well. I just chose not to broach those topics because Soups actually wanted to weigh in on them, so I didn't want to do them without him. But these in particular here, nah, these were actually perfect for a solo show. Because one of them was a particularly grand topic that had a lot of history behind it, like I said before. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click the links in the description to keep your fingers on the pulse of Cosmogoth. This has been your gracious host, Kaine Walker. I'm signing off, and I will see you all again next time. God damn it. Do I want to watch what you sent me before I go? Fine. I'll watch it. What did you send me? God damn it. Sham, what the fuck is this? Oh my God. Dear God, man. All right. Is it on screen? Coming soon to... Let's full screen this. Coming soon to a ranked match near you. Jalube. How long did it take you to work on this? Sappers. This is so dumb. Mock. Is this gonna kill? Okay. You're running ultra double. Never mind. This is gonna kill though.
Now, face the mighty Wayne Calker.
Oh my god.
You fool. Come here, bigot. This is it. Over.
No! What the fuck? What? Oh my god. Sham, what the fuck, Sham? Horrible. The Wayne Calker YouTube channel. Oh lord. Alright, I don't even know how to end anymore. This has been your gracious host, Kaine Walker. I'm signing off. And I'll see you all again next time. Peace. Oh my god.
Anyway.